good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you're listening to this. This is Coffee with Kevin, and this is my coffee. Live, laugh, and love again. I love this cup. It is such a great suggestion to us all. And of course, I am Kevin Martin, a mindset coach with CNLP Coaching and founder of Positive Effects Coaching and Hypnosis. Anyway, that's me. Today is September 12th. September 12th. A great day. Great day in history. The biggest thing I could find was today in 1940, they found the Lascaux caves in France. They found some drawings dating back 15,000 years. They look like kids' coloring books or drawings mostly of animals. And maybe the kids colored on the walls and they let them color on the walls of the caves back then, 15,000 years ago. I don't know. But it was very, very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. Brenda Martin, hey, good morning to my sweetheart. And, it's today, if you were born today, according to numerology, it's the 12th day of the month, shows energy and friendliness, affection, but also logic and realism. Basically, that's if you follow numerology and you were born on this day, that would be it. Now, born on this day, there's a couple of people born on this day. Paul Walker from Fast and Furious, unfortunately died in 2013. But he was a really good actor. And Kim Namjoon, I believe, is a rapper born on this day. And George Jones, one of my favorite country singers, a classical country singer. And so several people were born on this day. What I remember about this day, though, it was the day after 9/11, 2001. And the world had changed. And you woke up that morning, for those of you that might remember, you woke up that morning saying, was this all a dream? Did I dream this? Was this a nightmare? The world had changed. For the first time, there was a terrorist event that actually took the lives of so many people in such a short time. And it was the first well-organized, multifaceted terrorist event, and it's the first terrorist event that big to ever hit the United States. I think it was the first terrorist event that big to ever hit anywhere. So it was a wake-up call, but it was a change. The world had changed. The world had changed in an instant, in a day. Now, if you woke up sometime in 2022, you'd find the world had changed again from the pandemic, but that took time. That took the period of a couple of years. These life-changing, world-changing events are phenomenal as I look back in my lifetime. I'm sure many people who were alive then in the 40s when they woke up to find the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. Again, it's like, okay, this happening to us. Us being the U.S., of course, but it's happened to all sorts of countries and all sorts of civilizations throughout history. When we have these life-changing events, it just, now the way you go through the world, the way you perceive the world. Good morning, Larry. The way you perceive the world is completely different now. I remember that. I remember, waking up on the 12th and watching the TV. Of course, it was all about what had happened the day before. But then you're looking for what's going on, what's going to go on in the streets as you're walking down the street or driving down the street. Is there going to be something else going on? Is there going to be another attack somewhere where you live? And then all sorts of people were stranded. And then for days and weeks, we're trying to find out, who survived, who didn't survive. It was a horrific thing. but it was a life-changing thing. It changed the way we looked at, the way we perceived the world. Today, I'm going to change the subject a bit. Yeah, quite a bit, actually, because I don't want to keep that negative perception and the way we negatively perceive the world from that life-changing event to a more positive life-changing event. And that's when we deal with changing our lives purposely, when we deal with personal development, when we deal with going through and making these changes for the good, for the better, for us. And that's usually personal development, at least with me, with my experience, with where I've been over the years. I've gone through a lot of personal development, be it the hundreds of books that I've read, or the seminars that I've been to, the webinars that I've been to, and the sessions that I've been involved in. And they all just change my life in a really good way. Good morning. Why, I got some relatives on here. I see the last name Martin in there, and then my son Antonio and my wife Brenda, and my really, really good friend Larry. If you're on Facebook or you're on LinkedIn, I'm not sure I'd be able to see the LinkedIn chat if you're on, and you're chatting, so I apologize. But you know what? Those little things, it's one of the classes I give. I have this big block of granite, and then I have this guy chiseling little by little into this block. And then after the block's done, it's this gorgeous statue, gorgeous image. And I think that's us when we take upon ourselves to make those changes, and we come out with this beautiful image after we've done that. Now, sometimes changes can be done overnight, but most of the time, those overnight changes, are usually something drastic, something intense, and like I was talking about before. But sometimes we can go and we can have a really profound experience somewhere, whether it's accidental or whether it's purposeful, in some sort of seminar or webinar or whatever it is we're doing. Sometimes we can have a profound experience. Most often, it's that chipping at the statue little by little over time as we try to make ourselves the best person we can. Now, I title this the ethics of personal development, because I think everything we deal with has some sort of ethical component to it. And when we talk about ethics, a lot of the times it's seen as morals, and it really is side by side. But ethics usually there's some principles to it that are set. Ethics is more broad to cover not just us, which is morals, just us, but broad to cover communities, or as my ethical mentor says, and ecosystems. So there are ethics in personal development. I mean, we can grow in a lot of ways, when we're growing our personal growth, when we're dealing with that. Personal growth is a lot of learning. Are we going to learn to be one way or the other, right? We take an ethical approach to that. Okay. Thieves, criminals, crooks, sometimes they get mentored, maybe not voluntarily, but sometimes they get mentored by the wrong people, and they learn skills that they use in the wrong way. Okay. That happens. I mean, it sounds like an Oliver Twist thing, right? Oliver Twist. You got all these orphans that are learned to become pickpockets and everything else. that probably does happen like that. But you had real life things in some of the third world countries where these children become soldiers, these become warriors for the not so good armies, right? They're taught to kill at a very young age. All right. So they've had this personal development where they're giving all of these principles that they're going to live by, but it's not such a great thing. So in personal development, there's ethics, and when I talk about ethics, I mean now for the real thing, for the real honest to goodness um, way in which to apply this, and the way in which it impacts our world. Let's just talk about truth and integrity, because that's the main basic thing. Okay, so we're not really talking about the other things I just going over is, whether your personal growth is as a criminal or not. No, we're just talking about we're just talking about integrity. If you build integrity into your personal development, which means that you become a person of your word, which means that when you tell somebody you're going to do something, when you make promises, that you are doing your absolute utmost best to keep your word. To keep your word. When you find you're doing that, then that personal growth actually starts to expand and starts to evolve. Because the one thing with success, if you're going to be successful, you're going to be dealing with people, period. Right? And the one thing to be successful with people is to have integrity. To have integrity, to do the best you can to keep your word, to do the best you can to not lie. And that's what it's all about. Now, when I volunteer for an organization called the World Ethics Organization. When I first started volunteering for them, and I run a Wednesday afternoon ethics roundtable. If anyone's interested, look at my reach out to me and I'll send you a link if anyone's interested. It's every Wednesday, and I started getting into this, and all of a sudden things would happen, and I'd have to question myself, which is the right decision, which is the proper decision. I was in a parking lot one day and my door flew open because of the wind, and I nicked the edge of a car that was parked next to me. And, I go in the office. It was just a small nick, and you wouldn't see it unless you really, really looked at it. But if you looked at it, you notice it. It was actually, when I looked at it carefully, it had a tiny dent to it. I go in the office and I'm thinking, wow, I know they're parked out there, and they weren't someone that lived in the office building, because it was a tenant building as well, because it had an out of town plates. And I said, I did this. I know it was an accident, but if they want to get it repaired, if they notice it, if they want to get it repaired, it should be my insurance, not theirs. And so I went out and I left a little note and a business card. It turns out nobody ever contacted me. I looked a little more careful at their car later on, and it wasn't the first scratch, so they just didn't care. But it made me think twice. It made me think twice about little things like that, making your decisions. That's what ethics is all about, is like having a guidance in making decisions every day. And it's very important in personal development and personal growth. Because what kind of person do you want to? What is that statue going to end up looking like that you want it to look like? Is it going to be something beautiful, something people really want to see, want to be around, or is it going to be something that people don't trust? You're going to make that decision. And that's my talk for today, is the ethics of personal growth, personal development. This has been Coffee with Kevin, and I hope you had your nice hot cup of coffee or hot cup of tea or whatever it is you were drinking today. You can see in the background. I got to use this finger in the background. Whoa, there it is. My coffee symbol, because it's all about coffee with Kevin. And it is good this morning. I hope you have a great day, a great week. Matter of fact, I wish for you to take control. I wish for you to make it that great day. No matter what goes on, no matter what hits you, no matter what people say, you have the choice. You can make it a great day. You don't have to let things impact you in a negative way. Make it a great day. Make it a great week. This has been Coffee with Kevin. You want to learn more about what I'm talking about, what I've been talking about today? Reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to share more information with you. This has been Coffee with Kevin. Take care, all.